Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Otsego City Council meeting. Tonight is Monday, June 9th. Audra, can you have the record show that our city attorney is online, our city planner is present, our city engineer is present, along with all city council members and our city administrator. At this time, I will ask you to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Our first item of business this evening is the open forum. This is the portion of the meeting where you can come to the podium, state your name and address, and limit comments to 5 minutes or less. Would anyone like to speak at this time?
Hi, everybody. Jeannie Holland.
Hello.
Hopefully Sarah will get here soon, but
Do we have a microphone for?
does it work?
No, it's working. Like we can hear you, but do we need it for online?
There's one.
Oh, I'm sorry. You have a black top, so from here you could not see it. You're good.
Oh,
Sorry. I just want to make sure for.
So before Sarah gets here, I just want to say congratulations on the groundbreaking. It was a very nice event. Thanks for inviting me. Super thrilled to have this process underway. And then before Sarah gets here, and I don't know, like she's coming from Delano, she's running late. So, but I did want to say I was in Little Falls today, this morning with AMC, Association of Minnesota Counties. And we were looking at, some of the things that are coming our way. One of which is this shift that we're hoping today with the special session will go away. All the counties, have the same thing as our county, that it would be very onerous on our taxpayers. I do want to thank everybody that we had a lot of people email, we had a lot of people call, and I really appreciate the support of that. So that was great. But this is Sarah. Sarah is our Director of Public Health, and she and I were just in San Antonio for an emergency preparedness. And when we were there, Sarah had said that she was very excited that you're getting a fire department. And a lot of people think of public health as being just clinics and nurses and well van, but it's a bigger scope. And Sarah's been our director. We're very lucky to have Sarah because down at the state, she's won awards. She's very well known. Wright County's lucky to have her. So I want her to congratulate you guys on this process and kind of go forward as to what she's thinking.
Sure. Thank you. I apologize. I went to the city hall. It's my first time coming to the city of Otsego. Probably should not have been my first time. I've been the director. Again, I'm Sarah Grotius. I'm the public health director. I've been the director for almost 8 years. I would just, what Commissioner Holland just shared. We have been working, my predecessor set up first responder and fire department meetings over 30 years ago. And we meet quarterly with them. They're critical partners in all of our preparedness activities. And to have that partner be another partner in the county stand up is just a fantastic opportunity. Really high functioning fire department doesn't just bring you fire service. They're the ones who tell us what they see when they go into homes. They are the first to tell us where opportunities for improvement and public safety are. They often know what's wrong with your roads before maybe your engineer does, because they're the ones who are doing, seeing the accidents, seeing the repeats, and having them in your community allows them to get that, get that higher level of service where you're going to get them thinking about, well, we're seeing trends in these kinds of calls. We maybe need to think about what we should do differently. Falls, they may be seeing trends in different kinds, like missing smoke detectors, and really give you an opportunity to talk about how they could really improve the health and well-being of the community. They're great partners for that. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them, but we'll make sure to get your new department on our list to join us.
Perfect.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. Oh,
Thanks a lot and look forward to working with you guys with this process. And if you need anything else, let me know.
okay.
Will do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Is there any other comments?
Vincent Peterson, 14064 67th Circle. I was wondering if we have an honest estimate of how much the property tax increases are going to be on Otsego residents for the total operating budget and the contracts services for the fire departments. They're going to probably have to have contracts with even once we have our own fire department. So I'm looking for some kind of number as to what the estimated cost is going to be on our property taxes.
Adam?
Mayor, council, I don't have the property tax impact offhand, and that would change depending on what the valuation of a home or a business is throughout the community. The total estimated operating budget for 2027 was presented to the City Council and Public Safety Commission on April 29th, I believe it was, and is included within that packet. So as
So
far as
the
property
1.6, the $1.6 million payroll plus the contracts.
Mayor, council, for 2027, there would not be any contracts as of current. It would be the city department operating.
So there won't be any contract services paid after 2027. Is that correct?
Mayor, as of now, that is correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? All right, we will close the open forum and move on to item 2 to consider our agenda for approval. Does anyone have anything that they would like to add or delete at this time?
Madam Mayor,
Right?
I move to approve the agenda as written. Second.
Motion by Ryan, seconded by Corey. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Moving on to item 3, our consent agenda. A motion would be in order.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Ryan?
I move to approve the consent agenda as written. Second.
Motion by Ryan, seconded by Corey. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Moving on to our planning section, item 4.1 is the Otsego Waterfront. Dan?
Thank you, Mayor. This item was tabled from your meeting on May 27th. It's consideration of a planned unit development stage plan, preliminary plat of 1 lot and 3 outlots, as well as vacation of existing drainage and utility easements. The item was tabled to allow the developer to provide additional information and revised plans, which they submitted on June 2nd. So city staff had opportunity to review them prior to inclusion in the packet for your consideration tonight. The first issue that they addressed was the required parking under the ordinance in place currently, which was approved at the meeting on May 27th. The development's required to have 301 parking spaces, including 121 interior parking spaces. They're providing a total of 317 parking stalls, including 121 interior spaces. You can see on the graphic, essentially the parking added on the south side of the multiple family structure, extending the commercial area further south. The lobby is tucked in so that added space is somewhat hidden from view of the street along Quantrell. You'll see on the elevations how it's more apparent where that addition happened. But it's basically the same structure, just adjusted as the developer had indicated they would do at the meeting. The other item was the exterior materials, as initially presented, didn't have 65% grade A, which would be the CMU block, brick face, or glass materials. To address that requirement, they added brick facing to the second through fourth stories of the structure above the parking garage on the multiple family dwelling, still keeping the fiber cement materials in place as an accent material and to provide differentiation in color and texture. So this now complies with the requirements of the zoning ordinance that would be the basis of the planned unit development district, referencing either the commercial districts or the new M1 zoning district. And on the graphic on the upper left corner, you can see that expanded garage area tucked in between the building and the commercial still facing south. The final issue that city staff worked with the developer on over the last 2 weeks was the fire access along the north side of the building. The city engineer applied the turning radius of the city's fire apparatus to that northeast corner of the building, showing that it does have the ability to circulate through that access lane. We're still reviewing with the emergency services director whether that fire lane is sufficient width, in their opinion, for if they were going to stage to fight a fire in that location. So the truck can get through there, but you'd want additional space for staging, equipment, and also separation from the building. But if you look back at the site plan, actually I've got it this way. There's plenty of space to be able to shift the building further south. So adding 5 to 10 feet on the north side of the building isn't a significant issue, and one that staff doesn't feel that there's a need to hold up any action by the council, and that can be addressed adequately through condition. So the recommendation again is for approval of the application. The Planning Commission again did consider the request at the public hearing on April 21st and had voted unanimously to recommend approval. The revised actions for consideration are approval of the PUD development stage plan and preliminary plat now with 18 stipulations, and approval of resolution 2025-24 vacating those existing drainage and utility easements with the Navy addition.
Okay, thank you. Does the applicant wish to comment?
Good evening, everybody. Jesse Hartung, 18837 Ogden Street Northwest, Elk River, Minnesota. Thank you for doing a quick turnaround and review. I believe we've dialed everything in, hopefully, that had raised concerns last time, and I look forward to answering any questions and hopefully seeking approval tonight. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, council, questions for the applicant or for staff? I appreciate that you did go out and turn this around as quickly. We were a little apprehensive, it seemed, at the time to do it, but thank you for doing that and getting it back to us, because we gave you a longer time frame if you need it.
No, I'm excited to get this to the end, hopefully, and excited to start the project. So I appreciate that we didn't have to go back through Planning Commission and we're able to get this back and work with the city staff to quickly review it, make a couple of tweaks while we still have time to submit it. So.
Other questions or comments? Lori?
Mr. Harding, I have one question, I guess. I know you weren't able to say what businesses you were working with. Are you able to say what type of businesses you would be looking to?
Small businesses, so other owner operators are colleagues of mine that have, indicated they would love to take space there. Unfortunately, again, just for confidentiality reasons and things like that, they're not quite ready to make that announcement. But again, the indication or the goal being to create kind of a Main Street vibe, similar to Stillwater and stuff, so that we would be incentivizing and recruiting businesses that are smaller owner operators that provide, unique services that aren't necessarily nationalized chain type stuff there. And then also lean into the park area and the stuff you guys have done with your park, the future park development on us to really make it more of a recreational kind of entertainment district. So you can think restaurants, rental equipment, businesses where you've got, like insurance companies where they have 5, 6, 7, 8 insurance agents that are working in the office, bringing clients in and out, realtors who are always meeting with clients. We're looking to attract businesses that are going to bring people down there that can support the other shops, support the restaurants. enjoy enjoy the park amenities and all that kind of stuff.
Would you ever foresee Tipsy Chicken?
Well, so Tipsy on Main's got a spot right now.
Right.
It's an old building. Definitely, definitely the original goal is to do 2 restaurants at the location. Currently we don't have a restaurant slotted, although that would be something we'd be looking at very closely as we get through the initial phase of development. Certainly phases 2, I mean, still 100% of a goal of getting a nice boutique hotel down there. Something high end, still want to do the rooftop restaurant. Future phases, hopefully we can get that through, planning approval and everything, but, phase 1, it'll be, we'll see if we open a restaurant there or not.
And then you might have addressed this in the first couple, I guess, times you've been here, but particularly specifically about the how much the apartments are going to cost. Do you have a ballpark idea? I apologize if you've already.
Yeah, and obviously the market's going to dictate that. We do
Yeah.
want to come in at the high end of what you would consider market rate, but we also want to provide high end amenities. So I'm happy to email Dan and share with you guys our latest market study that was done. Rents are going to be competitive with what's in Otsego now, but I think we'll
Okay.
be offering a little bit higher end amenities. So, I think anywhere from off the top of my head, again, these numbers change every sort of couple of months. You got to
Right.
see where stuff's at, but your studios are going to be right around that $1,000 a month. 1 bedrooms are going to start to be somewhere between 14 and 15. 2 bedrooms, some under and some over 2,000. And then as you get into your 3 bedrooms, you'll be closer to 2,500, I think. But that'll be an all-inclusive price. And I'm not sure if you've reviewed the past stuff, but the goal is to have your car, your parking spot's going to be there. Like, I'm very much not a nickel dimer. It drives me nuts when you go places and it's like nickel dime everything, right? And so that's the goal, is to have that be a full all-inclusive. One of the unique things we're going to do at this project is actually have a fleet of vehicles that tenants can use to rent on their phone with like an app. So you don't necessarily have to have a second car. I think it'll help the parking tremendously. It'll help people's quality of life. So we're gonna have that as an amenity. We're able to get that kind of space. We're gonna have gardens up on the rooftop for the residents. It can't be a public rooftop space due to fire code for this phase, but we'll have gardens and space up there, and we'll have a lot of great amenities. So we'll be very competitive on price, but it will be at the higher end of the market rate.
Some of the other amenities inside, like I know one of our other apartment complexes, they have, theaters and different stuff. You foresee that?
Yep. So on the plans, we've got a really nice community space that tenants can use. We're going to have a game room, which is going to be kind of a higher end thing, where we're going to have a golf simulator in there for sure. Shuffleboard, those kind of fun games. Hopefully, we'll work with the parks department and see if we can start to work on planning events, outside in the parking spots and outside in the green space down the road too. But we'll have the public lobby. Inside the public lobby there, we will have coffee shop and a juice bar, so tenants can get downstairs and get their coffee in the morning and things like that. So we're also looking at having which will be unique to this area, is having a part-time security guard, and then eventually developing that into future phases into full-time security too. So.
Okay. With modern construction, do you guys have any other facility out there yet? Or was Tipsy Chicken your first big one?
Well, Tipsy's the first restaurant, but modern construction's been building for well over 20 years. Started primarily single family residential, built stuff well into the multi-millions. I've done multifamily development, including some, $4 or $5 million developments in Minneapolis. I've done development work. So single family, lots in St. Michael, lots in Zimmerman, lots in Big Lake. This will be the first mixed use building, which is why I'm partnering with Bauer Design Build to bring their expertise to the table and, make sure it's getting done efficiently and in line with codes and all that good stuff.
So are they gonna be doing the design on the project?
So Momentum Design Builds the contractor or the architect firm, and then they're going to work with Bauer Design Build out of Plymouth. So Bauer will be the GC, I'll be the developer, and then Momentum will be our architects. And another thing unique to this project is, I'm going to own it and operate it. So it's not a build it and flip it, which is typically the model with a lot of developers. They get in, build them, fill them up, they sell them 2 or 3 years, 4 years down the road, take their money, move on to the next community. So ideally, this will be a phase 1 and a phase 2 and a phase 3, and continue to own it as and continue to build on it.
Any other comments?
Madam.
Yes.
I have a question for Dan, and I'm sorry I didn't get this to you ahead of time, but if we look at the setback issue off of Quantrell, if I'm reading this correctly, the shape of the lot is sort of kind of constraining the fact that they wouldn't be able to meet the setback requirement. I'm looking on page 6.
Okay, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Page 6.
Sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
So I can understand sort of giving some leeway on the setback requirement. But then isn't the next section on pedestrian access and the requirement that they actually build a sidewalk, aren't those two issues sort of in conflict?
Mayor, so. back-
Screen share.
So you can see on the site plan, the dashed red line is the property line. So they're building the parking stalls right up to the property line. And then you have the right of way. The parking stalls are 20 feet deep, so this is an exceptionally deep boulevard to the roadway surface because it's still rural section. So they're putting the sidewalk in the public right of way. And it's in the boulevard is of sufficient width that there's no visibility issue or conflict with the sidewalk, even with the reduced setback along the lot line.
Okay.
And again, the constraint physically is the wild and scenic boundary that's pushing all of the development away from the river. So even when we had looked at Otsego Waterfront east to the north or Nathies and how these lots would develop, the intent was to push everything as close to Quantrell as possible, and recognizing this extra wide boulevard gives that opportunity to accommodate the needed pedestrian space, space for drainage, space for utilities, and the parking.
So then who maintains that? Is that on them or on?
They maintain the boulevard adjacent to their property per the city code.
Okay, great, thank you.
Do you have any further questions, Ryan, on that?
I guess just one, I think you've kind of clarified it, but in the document that we have, sort of the summary, it does say that there's not enough grading materials. And it looked from the design like that's true. Like there's only 32% grade A, but then you just showed that.
So I saw that in the packet. For some reason, the memo that is in the packet wasn't the final version.
Oh,
So I
okay.
Not saved it before I sent it, but the numbers on the RCA are correct.
Okay. But this doesn't show that what the material would look like, right? This is just a demonstration of where that material would be brick.
Mayor, if you actually zoom in on it, you can tell that the charcoal on the 5th and 6th stories is horizontal lap siding, but these areas are actually brick.
Oh, okay. So
So
this is
It's correct.
representative of what it would look like.
Yep.
Okay.
And then they also have the percentages on the actual plan sheet at the bottom.
Right.
Which was our concern that he hadn't met it last time. We asked for those upgrades. Okay, anyone else have any other questions?
The mayor, I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Motion to approve a preliminary plat for Otsego Waterfront and a PUD development stage plan for lot 1, block 1, subject to the stipulations as stated with the findings of fact and decision as presented.
Second.
Motion by Tina, seconded by Michelle. Is there any discussion?
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
I think most of the issues, well, almost all of the issues that we've discussed over the past couple years have been addressed. The one that remains for me is building height. I just think it's really 2 stories above our current maximum. I have an issue with that, so it's going to be a no for me.
Any other comments? Corey?
Madam Mayor, I would, much as I like the idea, I agree with Ryan. The building height.
Yes.
Just a quick comment. So this was being processed as a PUD. prior to adoption of the M1 district, which was approved at your last meeting. The M1 district would allow a height up to 75 feet on this property.
Right? Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-2.
Thank you, council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item 4.2, the Sunshine Edition. Dan?
Thank you. Mr. Fisher has just joined us, I see, so good timing, as always. This is an application for Otsego Waterfront Commons for request of a PUD development stage plan, a final plat of one lot and vacation of existing drainage and utility easement. This site is located at the northeast corner of Trunk Highway 101 and 90th Street as part of the Waterfront Commons development, where phase one was the Little Gym and Kennedy Vision buildings. This was one of the 3 lots within that development, which is guided by the comprehensive plan for commercial land uses. It's zoned PUD district with uses allowed based on the B1 retail district, which allows for dentist offices as a permitted use. There is still a 3rd phase to the east of this site that would be forthcoming at some point in the future. The first step is they need to final plat what is currently an outlot into a lot and block. With the PUD district, there are no requirements in terms of minimum lot area or width. Basically, it's defined based on the setbacks established by the PUD district and off-street parking requirements, which we'll address as part of the site plan. There are utilities to the property, and the developer will pay their availability charges with approval of the final plat. Stormwater for this development is handled as part of the regional pond to the east of the Cowboy Jack's building that's within Carrick's Landing. The plat included drainage and utility easements overlying existing utilities, as well as some planned utility locations. Those will be vacated and reestablished with the new final plat. And then finally, the city attorney drafted a development contract for the project to proceed under completion of the public and private improvements. The setbacks for the PUD district required basically no setback except for between structures. The intent initially was that this property would be developed with buildings forward to 90th Street, basically mirroring the one structure on the south side of the roadway. The intent was to kind of put buildings forward, parking behind. So this building layout with the structure directly adjacent to 90th Street and parking to the north across from the Kennedy Vision Little Gym building is appropriate and consistent with that direction established with the initial approval of the Waterfront East District. Off-street parking is shared between all 3 parcels within this plat and this development. There's 35 stalls required between the existing uses. They've got 94 parking spaces shown just with these 2 phases, so that does give some additional flexibility for phase 3 as well in the future. Sidewalks are connected to the adjacent public sidewalks on 90th Street and to Quantrell Avenue to the north to provide pedestrian access. Their initial landscaping plan was fairly minimal, included turf grass and 1 tree, so we suggested they add some additional plantings, submit that to review for city staff approval prior to a building permit. Signs, they'll have 1 freestanding sign at the corner of the property modifying what was initially approved with the Kennedy Vision property, where they'd have just the 1 highway visible sign. With the additional sign area that they had available from that, they're basically taking it off that sign, putting it more at a ground level at the intersection, visible to traffic exiting at County Road 39 or coming eastbound across under the freeway. Waste storage is provided with a trash enclosure on the west portion of the site, basically south of where the Kennedy Vision is. And they've also provided, or the need to provide an exterior lighting plan with their building permit application, which is typical. The building's approximately 3,500 square feet. The site plan did show a potential 3,000 square foot addition to the south, which isn't necessarily part of the approvals, but we like to be able to see that to know that we're reviewing it appropriately in terms of off-street parking as well as utility locations. The building's a single-story structure and at 67% grade A material, so it complies with all requirements of the zoning ordinance and PUD district. City staff is recommending approval of the application. The planning commission likewise voted unanimously to approve the request after their public hearing on May 19th. So we have 3 actions for council consideration tonight. The findings and of fact and decision approving the project includes 13 conditions.
Thank you. Does the applicant wish to comment?
Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council members and staff. Steve Fisher, 10766 Dunkirk Lane, Maple Grove, Minnesota. I don't have anything further to add. If you have any questions for me, I guess I'm here to answer them. Excited to continue the development there and get something going. We've had kind of vacant land there for a little bit too long, in my opinion. So it's excited to see phase 2 go. We do have some ideas for potential phase 3 that we're working on. We hope to bring real soon here. So, but if you have any questions on this sunshine, I'd welcome to answer them.
Perfect. Stay there in case we have anything. All right, council questions. Yes,
Madam
Corey.
Mayor, I think this is great. When do you think it would be up and running? Assuming it would get approved.
We're hoping to break ground in July, which means we'll complete it in the late fall. So she wants to be open by the first of the year for sure.
Okay. Is this Sunshine? Is it pediatrics or?
Yes, Sunshine Pediatric. So she does specialize just in pediatric dentistry. I don't correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it only goes up to age 18, I think. And she does not work on adults for dentistry, just I guess not adults.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, my wife has worked in peds for a long time with dentistry. And
Okay.
I know like a lot of people
sure.
from the surrounding cities have to go into Maple Grove or other.
Or Coon Rapids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to have one around here would be a great addition.
Yeah, she's really excited. She's working in St. Cloud area right now.
Sure.
We're real excited to get it up and running. So
All right, any other comments, questions?
Madam Mayor,
Ryan?
this is probably a question for Dan. I'm trying to visualize what the sign is. Is the visual that we have, does that represent what the sign would be?
Which page, Ryan?
On the building or?
On the building?
Yeah,
Or monument?
it's the A12.
Well, it's this one too, on the wood.
There's one on the woods.
Yeah.
Picture too.
Yeah, I'm more interested in the freestanding one.
Or the
That's
monument?
on the building though.
So Dan, did you have in the approval, I mean,
Oh, I thought you were pointing to.
the pylon sign?
No,
that
it's
you talked about that, right?
Gotcha.
And I guess it'll probably mirror what we have for the Kennedy Vision and Little Gym, but only be a smaller version of it because we have room to put another 125 square feet underneath Kennedy Vision and Little Gym, which would give us the 250.
Right.
And then we have 70 left. So it'll be a single pole with 70 square feet with Sunshine Pediatric on it, which she'd have to come in for a separate application with signage. Again.
So would that be a taller sign or would that be like a monument sign on grade?
That's going to be just the taller sign on the freeway, just like we have. So we were approved for 320 square feet. So we would stick with what we were approved for on the PUD.
Mayor?
Yeah.
So the proposed sign on the site plan on the screen, it's right at this location. It's 20 feet in height.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what that,
So that would not be accurate.
I see.
there is the ability to locate a 15-foot tall, 64 square foot monument sign for the entire development. That was part of the original approvals.
Okay.
And I think her plan was just to keep a small ground monument, maybe at the entrance area. Does she have that on the site plan, Joe?
That's
that
that's
might
what
be-
we're
so
talking.
that is
Yeah.
allowed by the PUD district for the 3 lots. So,
Okay.
So the sign that you were talking about, Dan, is more on the south.
yep, this is the one that would be the change from what was originally envisioned when Kennedy Vision was approved.
So rather than using sort of the square footage that's on the existing side, we're kind of,
Taking it down off of that and putting it lower.
and then, so just so I'm clear, the sort of the outline of the next phase that's there I think this was brought up at the planning commission. It does sort of collide with the drainage and utility easement. So it would have to change from what it is, right?
Correct.
Okay. By how much?
So you can see the easement line is this dashed line here.
Okay,
So this corner of the building is over that easement and it's
Okay.
actually over the water pipe, so. They'd obviously just have to take this space and change how they configure it into this location,
okay.
et cetera.
So you talking about the future addition lines?
Yeah.
So that was changed on the site plan, right, Ron? That on the engineering? Is it shown?
The site line for it, I'm sorry.
The future
For the
addition,
future.
I think we did change that.
So we haven't reviewed that yet.
Okay. Oh,
so
gotcha.
That's why it's
Sorry.
still listed as a condition of approval.
Gotcha. Okay, makes sense.
And
Yeah.
the city's not acting on that expansion at this point.
Right, there is no.
It was just, we flagged it in our report to say, hey, by the way, don't go drawing architectural plans for this because it's over an easement line.
Right. I was just kind of curious if that means that this one would have to change or not, but it sounds like it doesn't have to.
And he doesn't have any immediate plans right now. I've talked to her about that to put an addition on. If she was gonna do one, she said, well, that's probably like a 10-year plan at this point.
Yeah, I was
She
gonna,
just wanted to see if she had some extra room and what that may look like.
so it would be her doing the expansion. It wouldn't be another retail.
Well, she's owning it.
Okay,
You know, Emma
Got it.
Zimmerman's gonna own the practice and the building.
Okay.
Both.
thank you.
All right, any other questions or comments? Corey?
Madam Mayor, just one, I guess, you know what attracted her to this area, or was she kind of looking in Otsego or?
Well, we had the land listed for sale, so that's what attracted me to
I was gonna say, he found her.
She called,
You found her.
yeah. She called off our land listing.
Okay, great.
Good deal. I think with that, I'll make a motion
Okay.
to adopt resolution 2025-25 vacating existing drainage and utility easements, approve a final plat and PUD development stage plan for Sunshine Addition, subject to the conditions stated on the findings and fact and decision as presented, and adopt resolution 2025-26 approving a development contract.
Second.
Motion by Corey, seconded by Tina. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Steve. Moving on to city council reports and updates. Does anyone have anything? Right. Moving on to staff reports and updates. Adam,
Mayor, council, nothing for me this evening.
Audra,
Thank you. No updates.
Dave,
Mayor, I will be presenting planning commission a week from tonight, and beyond that, I have no further updates.
what did he say? Can you say it again?
In case anyone missed that, the city attorney is appearing at the planning commission meeting next Monday by special invitation to. train.
Oh. Okay. Thank you for interpreting that. Dan.
He was
Thank-
busy working on his presentation.
Okay.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Dave. All right,
Thanks,
Dan.
Dave.
Well, Dave's coming, so I got nothing else.
All right. Ron,
We held a pre-con for the Odine Avenue Water Main project, and they're gonna be starting here in July. So the trail along Odine Avenue from where the fire station is going in on 75th down to 70th Street, that'll be closed for 2 or 3 weeks while they work in that area to put the water main in. And then towards the end of August, a little portion of 77th Street near Odine will be closed to make the connection for water main. But that will hopefully be reopened before school starts, and we won't be putting up any detours because it's just a block and you can get out in both directions. So it's less confusing for people sometimes if you don't put the detour signs in and just let the locals people figure out how to get back to their own. There's multiple routes to get to everybody's house, and no one will be driveways affected by that connection.
Okay.
And we'll be connecting all the property owners
others that are adjacent to the work.
Great, thank you. Wright County?
We're not on a first name basis anymore?
Well, I was trying to be professional for you.
Okay. First time in
Sergeant
the last 3
Altman's to the
years.
front, please. Sergeant Altman's to the
Alright.
front.
I have 3 things. I'm not sure which order I have it here, so I'll just go off of. A couple times I've brought up that we're going with a new computer system for our computer-aided dispatch and our records management system. That system is under development, and that company is currently working with our agency to develop it. So I got to sit in on a feedback session with the company, and I guess I'm actually really optimistic now after having some one-on-one time with them. They actually seem to care about what the premise behind it. I think a lot of computer systems are kind of looking for, what type of paycheck can we get at the end of this? Their philosophy so far has been like, yeah, we want to improve public safety by how we're doing this and your efficiency. They had the, I guess, unfortunate pull of having to hear me in a meeting and start talking about all the things that I want to change. And that ended up being a couple-hour meeting and a lot of note taking on their behalf.
They were like, oh, we invited the wrong guy.
Yeah. But I mean, every time I said something, they would nod their head and they would type it in their notes and like, oh, I've never thought of it that way. So that's good, I guess, that they're taking it seriously. And I think I'm pretty optimistic after being able to actually have that face to face.
And I believe you said that some of the previous people that started this company were in law enforcement. There was some tie, like way back.
I think essentially the CEO of the company, I think, passionate about just public safety in general and wants to create something that nobody else has done. So he's big into it. They're pouring a lot of money into it. I know that. So good.
Okay.
I'm going to be super vague with this, but I guess the essentially the premise is we get a lot of suspicious person calls and anywhere really. I think a lot of people sometimes get hesitant to call because they don't want to bug us. Maybe they think it's nothing. Maybe they see something that's just slightly different in their neighborhood and they go, well, that's weird, and I want to call 911. I guess I'm going to use an example without getting into details with it, but it helps encourage the concept of if you see something in your neighborhood to just give us a call and we can come investigate it, right, wrong, or otherwise down the line. If it's something completely mundane and totally good, great. We can all walk away from it and laugh, not a big deal. However, there are times in a case of what's happening, and at some point I'll be happy to release the information. I am super glad that they called over something that would seemed at the time of like, I don't even know if I should call, turned into something pretty big, and it's going to be an ongoing big thing here. So I guess just my encouragement when I just reiterizing to the council, and I guess to what I typically say to the people that do call is, please call. That line's there for a reason. Whether it's 911 or the non-emergency number, it goes to the same person. It's just a different ringtone. So you don't have to go scramble trying to find that number. If it's something goofy, just call 911 and we'll come check it out. And sometimes it is a gigantic thing. We'll never criticize somebody. Why did you call? We'd never do that. We'll come check it out every single time. We don't say, no, we don't respond to that. We respond to anything you call 911 on. So, and the final thing, I guess, is as far as it'll just be a call load thing. You guys get a report out, and Public Safety Commission gets a report out of every month the different calls that happen in the city. Friendly City Days is in Albertville. You're going to see an increase on things that happen on the border there because of everything that expands and kind of falls into St. Michael and Albertville and into a little bit into Otsego. As everybody leaves those events, there is always a little bit of crossover from that event into Otsego. So that is just inevitable.
They're just trying to walk home.
I want people to walk home. Believe me.
You could give them a ride. Well, I hope it's a successful event for Friendly City Days. Hopefully they have good weather and everybody's safe. Yeah.
I think we have 18 or 19 shifts that are going to be extra from the sheriff's office to be participating in the Friendly City Days for squads and personnel in some capacity. So,
well, it's a lot of days that they have that.
It is. It ends up being kind of a long week for some of the guys that sign up for it for like the entire weekend. It's like a whole 5-day deal. So.
It has grown over the years for them. Understatement, right?
Oh, yeah. We have, to that point, and this will be my public announcement on that, we have 2 officers dedicated to just minor consumption enforcement.
Oh.
So we're
For that day?
Yeah.
For that week?
just
For that-
that event.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Okay.
Well, you have put
Put them on
right
notice.
people where they need to be.
That is all.
But that's a
We're
good,
getting derailed.
that's a good public service announcement, right?
That is
Yes.
good.
Yeah. They have been warned. All right, is anyone have anything for Sergeant Altman's this evening? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Thank you.
All right, if no one else has anything, then a motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Tina, seconded by Corey. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The meeting is ended. Thank you all for attending this evening.